I'm Sammy.
And we're back for season 2. So we're going to make some changes to the podcast. We're going to change it from about learning a topic to just topics that interest us, news stories about dogs, anything. And then, of course, we can always, if you have a topic you want to discuss, let us know.
Yeah.
So some of the things that interested me this last week, and we can just talk back and forth about them.
Sounds good.
Okay. So I found an article about airport travel with dogs.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and this guy put the dog on the moving escalator. You know, the things that scoot along.
What happened?
It got its paw stuck.
Oh, how sad.
So and then now they have to, if you have a dog in the airport, you have to carry it on the escalators.
So if they're a big dog,
yes. I have an 85-pounder, so
you can work out.
But I have a feeling air travel is not in his future.
No.
So that was at the Denver airport. So that brings me to another topic. When's the last time you flew, like on an airplane?
I want to say, I don't know, maybe last year. Did we go anywhere with the team?
I don't think we did. I think it's been like 2 years since we've been on the team.
Since I've been on a plane.
I haven't been on a plane in a while, but apparently, have you heard of them? Like, not just dogs, but emotional support animals.
No.
Are you familiar with that?
I've heard of them, yes.
Okay, so apparently it's getting out of control out there with the emotional support animals. Like, you can be apparently now on a flight, and it's not uncommon to have 2 or 3 dogs that are emotional support animals. Mm-hmm. And so it's got to a point where United has restricted that.
Really? I didn't think you were allowed to do that.
Apparently they did. So, I mean, maybe a topic to look at it another day. And
because things
may change, but I don't know. I love animals. I love dogs. But when you're on a plane, you kind of have an expectation. Like, it's not I don't know. Like in the cabin, not in the cargo hold. We're talking like, I don't know if they do. I wonder if they have to get their own seat. How does that work?
Because I can see the emotional support thing for like some people. Like we had some people come out on
I think it'd be very beneficial for it.
Like it works for people, and that's
my
great.
Stress levels drop 10 points when I get around my animals.
But would I want to be a passenger on a plane with a little rat dog next to me?
Right.
Or I assume they all act really amazing because
they're trained
support
for that.
dogs.
Maybe? But I don't know if they're all trained or if they're just like. Does a psychologist just say, "Hey, this person needs a dog for emotional support"? And then they just go get a dog, and then that's their emotional support dog? Or are they actually trained?
I thought they're actually trained, but I heard that it's kind of lenient.
Right, okay. Yeah.
But I'm not really sure. It's definitely something to look into.
Yeah, and so I don't know if I'm a big fan of being on a plane. Like, maybe one dog, but if there's if 10 people have emotional support,
and
where do you draw the line, though?
I don't know. And, I have kids, so I feel like I can say this. No one really wants to be on a plane with a baby either.
That's true.
A
screaming baby next to you.
Yeah. So, it's kind of like the same thing. I feel like maybe not. So.
Well, I wonder if they would have to have like
an extra
size restrictions, wouldn't they?
No, not
what if we all had lab support and emotional dogs?
They'd have to buy a seat for a lab.
A mastiff support dog.
That would be a very big dog. And then what about the people who have like dog allergies?
Yeah.
I don't know. If they have a peanut
because they're stuck
allergy,
on a tin can with. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Do they do peanuts on airplanes anymore? I know they do pretzels.
I've gotten peanuts, but this has been a couple years ago.
Like maybe peanut allergy because I haven't seen peanuts. So dog allergies, you can't have dogs.
Yeah, you're right. It's been pretzels lately.
Yeah, it's pretzels.
So,
Interesting.
But the article was like specifically in the last year or so, it's become an issue. So United. I think it was United. I read the article that they said, okay, enough's enough. I don't know if now you can't just, maybe you need a letter from a psychologist. Or it has to be prescribed support dog or now? Or?
I don't know.
Okay, so.
I don't know.
I just found that interesting. Is like, I would never board a plane with a dog, but that's just me.
Never say never.
I know. I learned that one a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so enough with dogs and travel. This was an interesting article I came across. There's a rise in dog ownership. And this guy named Clay Routledge, he's like a behaviorist. He kind of wanted to figure out why. And under 30s, which you're in that camp, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I hate labels, but they call them millennials.
Yeah.
They have more of an attachment to animals. Like they will make life decisions, not what's best for them individually, but like best for their animal.
Yeah.
So you have to read the article. It's Clay Routledge, but they elevate the dog above even themselves in priority. So like they could be dirt poor, but they're still going to spend a majority of their income on their animal or other things like that. So the reason he says there's a rise in dog ownership is because the millennial generation is lonely because they're detached from other people because they're all connected to social media.
That makes sense.
But they're not connected in the real world, so that they're getting an animal to attach to have that connection.
I was talking with a friend just the other day about how it seems like maybe the millennial generation, why they're having kids so later in life, is because they like the party scene and the social media. So they're not making those connections. So they're not getting married young. So they're not having kids young. So yeah, I could totally see them getting a dog to fill that void. I mean, I know our dog is our baby.
Yeah.
You know, and
right.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's a generational thing too. Like my uncle. So like I'm mid-40s. So my uncle's in his 70s, and like dogs are specifically why have a dog unless it has a purpose?
Like
so
work dog.
He has a cattle dog. He has a bird dog that goes hunting. So like when the bird dog's not in hunting season, it's in a kennel.
Oh, that's so sad.
Like it's not like
Yeah, it's outside.
It's a nice kennel. It's a kennel. Like it's
like
probably,
he's not hanging out on their couch.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So.
I can see that.
He treats them well. He feeds them well and all that. But it's not like they're there to be
loved on. And all that.
Exactly.
They're not a part of the family. They're there for work.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, and I'm kind of somewhere in between. Hey, buddy. We have a visitor.
Eli's here.
Yeah, that's Sammy's little one.
He is 1.5 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that was an interesting article I read. Any more thoughts on that topic?
No, not really.
Okay, so some of the other stuff I found interesting this last week. So you can sign up to be a dog fosterer.
Yeah.
So like when the rescue organizations get a litter of puppies or something, you can say, I'll keep them for a week or whatever until they're all adopted. So you can do that. That's a thing you can do.
That'd be like so dangerous if I did that.
Oh gosh, I would
never give them back. Yeah.
I know, exactly.
Oh man.
I would definitely need a bigger yard.
Yeah. Bigger house.
And one of the things we on our bucket list is to buy some acreage and have a deal where we can either, I don't want to start a rescue organization, but I would definitely love to have be a fosterer of 2 or 3 dogs at any given time when we have the land to do so.
Yeah.
But I'm totally maxed out on dogs at the moment.
Oh yeah, you have 4.
4, yeah. So in Michigan, I think it was in Michigan, I didn't write that down, but there was a family and they have 9 kids.
Uh-huh.
They fostered a litter of puppies there was 9 of them. So they each kind of
took care of one.
Can you imagine the chaos in that house?
I mean, that'd be pretty
9
crazy.
puppies?
9 puppies.
Yeah,
Did they foster them or did they end up keeping them one for each kid?
I don't know if the article said that. I don't believe so. It was right around Christmas time.
Oh.
And that I guess they needed a place to keep all this litter of puppies. And this family, these parents, it would be fun chaos, but wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. But 9 kids is a lot. So maybe to them,
sure.
they're
maybe
like,
it's just like no big deal. But
this is the normal life for me.
Just for me personally, November we got 2 puppies that are litter mates, and that is And definitely a time thing. You just with two of them.
But
They run in different directions, and you have to chase them down. Okay, so I'm just gonna, update with two pups. They are starting to personalities come out and they sometimes flip flop. It's interesting.
Really, how old are they now?
They're 5 months old.
Okay.
So when we first got them, Scout was obviously the alpha between the two, and for those of you who don't know, I haven't been following this. We got two Beagle puppies in November, and they are littermates, sisters, and they are so much fun. But they're starting to sometimes flip flop their personalities. Like usually, Zipper's more laid back and calm, and then she'll like go up and lay by the fireplace. That's her favorite spot, and normally she's just real calm, and then all of a sudden she'll get into this like frenzy, running around, and then Scout will be calm. So they like flip flop sometimes.
That's cute.
But then Scout's thinking she is bigger than she is because we have two labs, and one is Molly, and she's the alpha. She's definitely in charge of all the dogs. She oversees them, and she'll put them in their place. Yeah. And she can get kind of mean with the dogs, not us. But so she wants to make that order. Yeah. The pack order.
Which is very normal, and that's supposed to happen.
Yes. And we allow it to happen. We let her growl at them,
Yeah.
Well, Scout's decided she's trying to become the alpha.
She is a tiny baby.
She's little bitty. She's like, I think they're like, last time I weighed them, they were like 18 pounds now. Yeah. And so she, it's when I get the treats out. Is it 2 times this happened?
Oh, no.
So we may have to, I want it to happen a little bit just because they, they feel more at peace when they've established their order and everything. But when I get the treats out and they're all 4 there waiting on treats, Scout wants to go first, and Molly I always give her hers first, just because she's long established herself as the leader of the pack. Yeah. Well, Scout doesn't like it, so she reaches up and tries to grab that treat I'm trying to give to Molly. Molly didn't like it, so they do their thing, they're growling at each other. Well, Scout doesn't back off. Oh. She's 18 pounds. Molly's probably about 60 pounds. And mean to the other dogs anyway. So it came to, they started going beyond growling a little bit. And Scout grabbed a hold of Molly's ear and would not let go. It's like Molly's like shaking her head and Scout's like flying around.
Oh my goodness.
So finally got them separated and settled down, but Scout's definitely
she's giving Molly a run
got
for her
a
money.
Strong mind, yeah. So, and in the training that is bearing out in the training, they're very similar. So they're very similar. So they both are a little more stubborn in the training. It's interesting.
That is interesting.
So, like, we're teaching them the basics: sit, wait, stay, and here. Yeah. So, in all those, they'll do them all. But if Scout will not do those unless you have treats. And Molly's the same way. Whereas Zipper, the other one, will take praise versus a treat. So,
not food motivated as much.
And she's going beyond the basics, like she's doing the shake now. Aww. So it's really cute.
Because she likes your reaction. Yes. That's cute.
Yeah. So I'll have to video that and post that.
Yeah.
Because it's super awesome. Because she's 5 months old doing advanced tricks. It's pretty
That's amazing. Cool. That is amazing.
Is anything going on with Daisy, Crazy Daisy?
Oh, yes. She gets out and she'll come around to the front of the house. Oh, we live in town. Not it's kind of like sketchy looking outside, Like it's kind of anyways, so she'll get out of the backyard. We can't figure out how exactly.
Oh, you haven't figured out where she's escaping?
No.
Is she jumping the fence?
She's a border collie.
She's athletic. She could do it.
She could jump an 8-foot fence if she really wanted to.
Because it's a chain link fence, so it's not like super tall. Yeah.
Yeah, she could probably just clear something if she really wanted to, but then she goes around to the front of the house and barks like, "Hey, I scratched at the door and you didn't come soon enough," or something. Well, yesterday My mom's watching Eli, and she lets her out to go potty. 3 to 5 minutes later, Mom thought she scratched at the door, so she goes to let her in, and she's not out there. She's not at the front. She was gone.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so they yelled for her and everything, couldn't find her. By the time they got all bundled up to go get her, she was back.
So you don't know where she went?
No idea. So
no.
I want to get her chipped really bad. Haven't done that. And then
figure out if she's actually getting out somewhere or just jumping in.
Well, we went ahead and she makes paths in the yard by running.
Right.
And so she'll fling dirt. So we went ahead and fixed, she had a little dirt mound, but there wasn't even any paw prints or anything, so we don't even think she used that to get out. But there was a little tiny space between the fence and we have a privacy fence and then chain link. There's a tiny space, and she's not tiny, but
what kind of dog is she?
There's little hair. Huh?
What kind of dog is she?
She's a border collie, so she's a genius.
Okay, yeah, so I had an Australian Shepherd, which they're supposed to be very similar, and we had the same problem with escaping. And I'm like, where did you get out? I mean, I went by and checked every single slat and board, and I'm like, there's a few places where, I mean, I guess if she squeezed really hard and could get out, but
why is she trying to leave is what I'm trying to figure out, because she hates going in the backyard by herself even, so we kind of have to force her to go out to go potty.
Yeah.
And then she only really wants to play out there if
she wants
we're
to be
out
around
there.
You guys.
So why would she leave altogether? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So that's the first time that happened. Interest? I don't know. I don't think so. I thought when you fix a dog, they don't know what that is.
Yeah, see, I don't know either.
I don't know. I assume they don't, because I assume she's just going to be this pure little wonderful dog for her whole life, and she won't know what that is.
Right.
So I'm assuming that no, that's not the case.
Huh.
And she's not a big fan of other dogs.
Right. She's
very lone wolf-like. Yeah, she doesn't want to play with other dogs. So I don't know. It's not like she was going to go play with somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't know. Got to figure that out.
Yeah, we had one, and she never ran away. This Australian Shepherd, she would be like, this was when I was in college, so when I come home from class, she'd be sitting on the front porch. I'm like, oh geez.
You're like, no.
Where did you get out this time? Yeah.
I'm just scared. She is a gorgeous dog. Someone would take her. You know? They'd be like, oh, well, we can take this collar off or something, you know, but
unfortunately, you might have to wait on her to potty and
just immediately have her come back, or literally stay out there the entire time, and it's just...
In the summer, that's not a big deal. You can just sit in a chair and wait.
But it's cold.
And it's freezing cold here where we're at.
Yep. So, yeah.
And I've read from training books that ideally you're supposed to wait with them when they're pottying, but good night. It's freezing outside. You don't want to be out there.
It is, yeah.
Especially in the morning time. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you on that one other than just watching her and having you want to try to get other stuff done when you let them out in the back. That's sad. Yeah. But apparently beagles are escape artists.
Yeah, they dig. They're diggers.
And I'm wondering, like in our lifestyle, nobody's gone from the house for more than a couple hours at a time usually. So, but we don't ever leave them out there. Like when we leave, we crate them. And then we'll leave them in the backyard to play and stuff when we're inside. Yeah. So that, we can check on them every so often, but I'm nervous about that. Mm-hmm. They like to dig under stuff. And I've found holes where they've tried to dig under the back fence, which is bad because it backs up against the road. But... So, that's an issue I'm kind of got to figure out. I'm thinking they have those little metal stakes you can push down in the ground so that they would have to dig like a foot down in the ground. Oh, yeah.
Would you have to put them a whole
Yeah, so it comes in a roll and it's metal and you just drive it in the ground to where it's level with the ground or slightly under the ground surface. And when they dig down, they're digging into that metal.
So they stop?
Yeah, they would usually... Ideally. They literally... Because it's like a foot and a half deep, so...
They'd have to tunnel really far.
They'd have to tunnel. And I've seen it in some, farm supply stores we're in Oklahoma, so it'd be Southern Ag or Atwoods, in 4-foot sections, and they're metal, and you drive them down with a hammer.
That might be something to think about.
I'm going to do that because that would give me peace of mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about being in the yard. Yeah, because now I'm like nervous to have her just in the yard.
Yeah.
Or
you haven't found any big holes where
she's not digging. She's not digging. She'll be completely clean.
She jumped that fence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She either jumped it or I don't know. And you can't like wait and watch her. You can't like hide inside and look out the window either. It's like, yeah, it's like she knows or something because she won't even try it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but the 1 second you decide not to, she's at the front door.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, let me in. It's like, no, not cool.
Yeah. So anyway, anything else to think of? I read an article about it was an opinion piece about are dog parks good?
Are they?
I'm beginning to wonder about that. I've been taking my dogs for a while, and the last 2 times they did not have a good experience.
What do you mean? What happened?
Okay, Jackson's our big, goofy,
he loves
sweet,
everybody. Yeah.
Yes, lab, and he is definitely will submit to if a dog shows any aggression at all. He'll roll over on his back. Well, he kind of got there was 3 or 4 dogs that kind of were ganging up on him,
Aw.
They were started out as chase, which was cool. He loves to run. But then they got a little too aggressive for him, and he rolled over, and they just kept after him. And I was like, he was scared. I was ticked.
Yeah.
And the point of the article was most people take their dogs there and they don't pay attention to them. They're on their phone or they're.
It's like a babysitter for their dog to play.
Yeah, they're watching a movie on their phone or doing whatever,
Which that's not what it's supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to be interacting with your dog there,
mm-hmm.
and other dogs.
It's like taking your kid to the park. You don't just go. Well, some people do just go and sit, but that's not what a park is for.
Whose dogs are these, and can someone call their dog off?
Get your dog because I can't.
And that's happened twice in a row the last 2 times we went. So I like going when there's
nobody there.
Few other dogs or no dogs. That's my favorite time to go. But it was an interesting article, and I didn't think about it in that way because I always thought, "Hey, dog parks are good." I'm beginning to wonder about that.
I think it depends on what dog, because Daisy doesn't like other dogs,
mm-hmm.
and so it was a waste of time going to the dog park. You know what I mean?
Yes.
if she just wants to run and be free, I can, there's our yard, or she can go to her grandma's house and run on tons of acreage.
Right.
But she doesn't like dogs.
Yeah, right.
So I gave up on that.
Yeah, so I thought that was an interesting article in some respect. And, they say they need to be socialized, but when they go to your farm place, your parents have dogs, they can socialize with those dogs.
Yeah.
And socialize with everything else, pigs, whatever else.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she loves playing with the pig.
Plus, in that particular instance, they like to attach to their owner.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't really, even they're bred to not really socialize anyway. So
yeah, apparently herding breeds only like herding breeds.
Correct. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So
but, I mean, she acts like a person, so it's fine.
So I'm conflicted on the dog park. And especially there's one in town that's super busy all the time. I haven't been there in 2 years. I just don't like it.
Because it's too busy.
Yeah. And there's too many people there that just let their dogs, they just basically let their dogs do anything. And you can't take 2 steps without stepping in dog poop.
That's the worst. If your dog poops at a park.
Come on, people. Seriously, it takes 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't stand your dog's stink, certainly nobody else can. So
the worst is whenever you get your dog. This is really random, but I remember the worst is when you get your dog groomed, because Daisy's got long hair, so she's got to go in every now and then to get her sanitary areas trimmed up. And it's the second you leave, they decide they need to poop, and the poop gets caught or sticks on them in some way. And you're in the parking lot trying to figure this out, and
they just got all prettied up.
And I'm well, didn't get trimmed good enough.
I specifically get breeds of dogs that don't need grooming.
Yeah.
I'm kind of lazy that way, so anyway.
Yeah. Well.
They need grooming, but you can do it. It's manageable yourself.
Yes.
I have 2 labs and 2 beagles. The labs have tons of hair and it sheds like a And so I have to brush them, but it's really easy to do.
Yeah.
Compared to that have like longer hair. And,
yeah, I've been like, we just give her baths all the time at home because she gets super dirty, especially lately with all the mud. So she's a pro at bath time. She hops in. If she's dirty from outside, she knows right when she comes inside, go hop in the bathtub. And then we clean her up and everything. But yeah.
Have you seen those that they're like they kind of look like a rug shampooer, but they're to clean your dog?
She hates the vacuum, so if it makes any noise.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
Anyway, okay.
Cool, but okay.
All right, I think we're good. We got a lot of content today, and we're over 20 minutes, so we're good.
Nice.
All right.
All right.
We're signing off, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.